if Richie and Amber's plan worked and we see that unfold in Scream 6? Let's talk about it.
What's your favorite scary movie? Hey, man.
We'll tear your soul apart.
Well, I'm Pennywise the dancing now.
Oh, Lord on the beat!
God, don't do that.
But sometimes dead is better.
Hey everybody, what's up? KillJoy Jake here, and instead of having friends, I have horror movies. Today we're talking a little bit about Scream 6, just another crazy theory to tell you guys about that I am thinking for Scream 6, something that's very possible with this new film to keep it continuing the story where we left off. Now before I get into this, I'm going to need y'all to like this video and subscribe if you're new here. I would greatly appreciate that. So how could the Scream 5 killers influence the plot of the next movie? Now obviously both of them are dead. Amber and Richie are both dead. They were confirmed killed in this last movie. I would be kind of weird if they came back, honestly. I don't think that's going to happen. So what I do think is going to happen though is that Gale Weathers is not going to be the one that tells their story, I don't think. But what will happen is someone is going to tell this story, someone is going to want to make this into a new stab film. So that's going to happen. We could have a brand new character that's very similar to Gale Weathers. We could have a character that's almost like one of her rivals. Why have we not seen that in one of the Scream movies? That would be a really interesting new character idea that I think would be really interesting to see explored in a Scream 6, and would give her a good reason to be the Ghostface killer. Her, him, whatever, it does not matter. But I think it would be really cool to have a Gale Weathers antithesis in Scream 6. That would be a really fun character to see play out. She could either be a red herring or our new Ghostface killer, and could be the one that's writing a story about Richie and Amber. Although Gale Weathers might be against that because of how the last film ended. We saw Gale Weathers give this speech about how she just wants their story to die in anonymity, and they can be forgotten about because fuck those guys. Is basically what Gale says about Richie and Amber. Now, what if we're getting a new stab movie in production that's based off of the killings in Scream 5? In Scream 6, we could see a bunch of things happen with that. We could see some reminiscence of Scream 3 in this new Scream 6 film, and actually have the movie take place on a hot set, just like Scream 3. Honestly, I don't love Scream 3. I think it's one of the weaker entries in this franchise, but it's really cool that it has a Hollywood setting, in my opinion. I think that's a much different atmosphere for Ghostface to be in, and it kind of adds a little bit of character to that film and some charm. This would be a good way to get Sidney Prescott, Gale Weathers, all of the surviving characters from the last film back involved again. Sam and Tara could possibly be going down to the studio along with the Meeks Martin twins to possibly like sue somebody to be like, hey, you can't make a movie about us. We didn't sign off on this. We're not cool with that, you know? Like, I think that would be cool to see that play out in a new film. It's it's very real, it's very modern, it's how that would be approached nowadays, I feel like. We could talk a little bit about cancel culture. We could talk a little bit about how remakes or requels kind of disregard the people who originally made them. Like, for example, the Nightmare on Elm Street remake. Wes Craven had very little to do with that movie, unfortunately, and it shows. And it just seems like the team behind that movie didn't really care that much about what Wes thought of the Nightmare remake. So could we see that explored? Could we see those concepts explored in this new Scream 6 film? Now, obviously in Scream 5, we talked a little bit about toxic fandom and how these toxic fans want a movie that's like the original again, but none of the sequels hold up. So they're gonna write a story that's basically the exact same thing. Well, could we actually see that movie go into production here? Could we see them have some commentary on how certain remakes nowadays just disregard the original directors, the original creative team behind those classic movies? And could we see a film that has a brand new character that could be like the age of our legacy characters instead of introducing younger characters like how I would kind of assume before, how like I would think the next movie would focus on more friends from college, for instance, of the Meeks Martin twins and the Carpenter sisters. I think it would be really cool to introduce like some older characters, some people that could work with Gale and Sidney, because something that I've been pushing for Scream 6 is to have them more involved with the plot. This would be a perfect way to do that. You could have Gale Weathers actually kind of really doing something. Although a lot of people said that Sidney, for instance, didn't have a whole lot to do with Scream 5, honestly, I feel like maybe Gale was the one that had the most little to do with it until Dewey died. Like, if Dewey didn't die, why was Gale Weathers there? You know what I mean? Like, besides the fact that she's got to report on this story, she didn't end up writing a book about it. She said that at the end of Scream 5. She doesn't want to do that. And it just kind of seems like she's reluctantly there. She didn't want to be there. And if Dewey didn't die, it would be like, well, why is Gale Weathers even here? Like, I understand Sidney Prescott maybe getting involved to try to help out because this is something this is a situation she's very familiar with. Same with Gale Weathers and Dewey Riley, but Sidney Prescott has always been the focus of it. And literally every other murder besides Scream 5. The killer has always been after her, but just decided to kill her friends instead for whatever reason. We need a movie, right? So I just think that, honestly, the biggest thing about this idea that would really work is it brings all of the characters back, not just the legacy characters, but your new characters from the last film in a way that feels much more natural than just having another Ghostface killer popping up. I think that's really interesting to me, honestly. I would really like to see that play out in this new film, along with a brand new set of killings. You could introduce new characters this way that aren't just friends of the Carpenter sisters or the Meeks Martin twins. I think that would be really interesting to see, and honestly, that's probably my favorite theory that I've put in a video so far. I'm gonna be honest. I'm totally down for this because you also have that that nostalgic feeling of like going back to Scream 3's setting, which is essentially just a hot set for a stab movie. You could recreate that here and show it in a modern perspective. I think that would be a lot of fun. I'd be so down for that, honestly. What do you guys think about Scream 6 taking place on a hot Hollywood set where Ghostface killings are going on, very similar to Scream 3? Also, what do you guys think about this Gale Weather antithesis character that I was talking about? Maybe another journalist who wrote the story about the killers from Scream 5 and is trying to get big, like almost like a Gale Weathers copycat. She could be a red herring. He or she could also be the new Ghostface. What do you guys think about that? Leave me something about all of this in the comments below. I want to hear what you guys think. Thank you all so much for watching my new Scream 6 theory video. Don't forget to like this video, and if you're new here, please make sure to subscribe because it really helps this page grow. Also, if you can, support my channel on Patreon. The link for that will be in the description below. Literally just $1 a month, and you get to see one extra video at least per month. That's pretty exciting. Thank you all again for watching, and as always, don't forget to kill it out there, y'all.